was a CNN Time poll done just not long ago. People were asked, where will you be at midnight on New Year's Eve? 75% of them said at home. But Bernie, it looks like there are an awful lot of folks who are in New York or Washington or one of these other places celebrating.
An awful lot indeed, Judy. We're waiting for the president to speak on the Mall. Wolf and Fred, this is your last chance, or one of your last chances, to say something in 1999.
Well, I just want to say Happy New Year.
See, there they go.
We can't win.
Happy New Year to you and to Judy. The President of the United States, in fact, has just started speaking here in front of the Lincoln Memorial. Here's the President.
We celebrate the past. We have honored America's remarkable achievements, struggles, and triumphs in the 20th century. We celebrate the future, imagining an even more remarkable 21st century. As we marvel at the changes of the last 100 years, we dream of what changes the next 100 and the next 1,000 will bring. And as powerful as our memories are, our dreams must be even stronger. For when our memories outweigh our dreams, we become old. And it is the eternal destiny of America to remain forever young, always reaching beyond, always becoming, as our founders pledged, a more perfect union. So we Americans must not fear change. Instead, let us welcome it, embrace it, and create it. The great story of the 20th century is the triumph of freedom and free people. A story told in the drama of new immigrants, the struggles for equal rights, the victories over totalitarianism, the stunning advances in economic well-being, in culture, in health, in space, in telecommunications, and in building a world in which more than half the people live under governments of their own choosing for the first time in all history. We must never forget the meaning of the 20th century, or the gifts of those who worked and marched, who fought and died for the triumph of freedom. So as we ring in this new year, in a new century, in a new millennium, we must, now and always, echo Dr. King in the words of the old American hymn, "Let Freedom Ring." If the story of the 20th century is the triumph of freedom, what will the story of the 21st century be? Let it be the triumph of freedom wisely used, to bring peace to a world in which we honor our differences and, even more, our common humanity. Such a triumph will require great efforts from us all. It will require us to stand against the forces of hatred and bigotry, terror and destruction. It will require us to continue to prosper, to alleviate poverty, to better balance the demands of work and family, and to serve each of us in our communities. It will require us to take better care of our environment. It will require us to make further breakthroughs in science and technology, to cure dread diseases, heal broken bodies, lengthen life, and unlock secrets from global warming to the black holes in the universe. And, perhaps most important, it will require us to share with our fellow Americans, and increasingly with our fellow citizens of the world, the economic benefits of globalization, the political benefits of democracy and human rights, the educational and health benefits of all things modern, from the internet to the genetic encyclopedia to the mysteries beyond our solar system. Now, we may not be able to eliminate all hateful intolerance, but we can develop a healthy intolerance of bigotry, oppression, and abject poverty. We may not be able to eliminate all the harsh consequences of globalization, but we can communicate more and travel more and trade more in a way that lifts the lives of ordinary working families everywhere and the quality of our global environment. We may not be able to eliminate all the failures of government and international institutions, but we can certainly strengthen democracy so all children are prepared for the 21st century world and protected from its harshest side effects. And we can do so much more to work together, to cooperate among ourselves, to seize the problems and the opportunities of this ever-small planet we all call home. In short, if we want the story of the 21st century to be the triumph of peace and harmony, we must embrace our common humanity and our shared destiny. Now, we're just moments from that new millennium. 2 centuries ago, as the framers were crafting our Constitution, Benjamin Franklin was often seen in Independence Hall, looking at a painting of the sun low on the horizon. When at long last the Constitution finally was signed, Mr. Franklin said, "I have often wondered whether that sun was rising or setting. Today I have the happiness to know it is a rising sun." Well, 2 centuries later, we know the sun will always rise on America as long as each new generation lights the fire of freedom. Our children are ready. So again, the torch is passed to a new century of young Americans.
Washington, D.C., New York City, and the countdown on the East Coast is underway. A matter of seconds, less than 45 seconds now, as we go down to approaching 30 seconds before the new millennium on the East Coast of the United States.
The fabled ball, now a Waterford crystal creation, is about to drop in Times Square. We will be there.
at the sunrise and behind the Lincoln Memorial.
marvelous thing about this, among many marvels, is that the weather is so extraordinarily good on the East Coast.
And you know, Bernie, I guess we're going to say it and say it again, but after all the worry, and we don't want to We don't want to discount the possibility of anything going in the wrong direction, but to say that we are now, what, 9 minutes past midnight, and so far the pictures are all positive. It's celebration, it's lights, it's dancing, and a lot of happy faces.
The Tropicana, Havana, Cuba. Our bureau chief there, Lucia Newman, told us a short while ago that people do not necessarily celebrate this millennium this year. Next year, but not this year.
That's right, next year, and whatever the government says goes in Cuba.
Did we say Happy New Year to each other?
We didn't. Happy New Year, Bernie.
Thank you. And a Happy New Year to all the women and men of CNN around this globe who have been working so tirelessly for the past few months to bring you this story as we've been bringing it to you since yesterday morning, and we shall continue for days to come.
You know, Bernie, there was a poll, I mentioned a poll a minute ago, there was a poll that CNN and Time did not long ago, and what will you be doing at midnight on New Year's Eve? 62% said kissing someone. So I guess we just saw some of the 62%.
Well, Wolf Blitzer's not kissing anyone at the mall, are you, Wolf and Fred Hickman? I doubt that you're doing that in New York's Times Square. Gentlemen?
I'm not kissing anyone, but I want to wish Fred Hickman a Happy New Year. You got a nice party going on over there, Fred.
Well, you're not doing too bad yourself in Washington, Wolf. Happy New Year to you, too. It's wonderful. You can't lose on a night like this. What a wonderful occasion this is.
I'll tell you, this is one of the most exciting moments here at the Washington Mall. You know, they're behind the Lincoln Memorial. You're seeing pictures of the Lincoln Memorial right now. There was a sun that was coming up. We really couldn't do justice on television. You had a lot more cameras over there at Times Square getting all those great pictures, and I'm not trying to belittle what you were seeing over there, but here it was in the midst of what we saw here in Washington, actual fire that was going on down this reflecting pool that's seen so much history over the years. It was just a thrilling moment. Goosebumps all over my body as I was trying to experience it. I was just grateful that we could all get through this moment, given all the buildup of Y2K, the computer bug. At least for now, so far, so good. Fred?
Well, isn't it a wonderful thing? You know, we have 2 million people compressed to this small area here in Midtown Manhattan, no incidents, and you know, it's been just a loving experience for everybody involved here. Spirits are so high, and my hope, I guess, for the new year for all of us is that we can continue on with that good feeling and carry it over into other areas of our lives and perhaps, you know, enjoy ourselves a lot more than we have the last 1,000 years. We should do this again in 3,000. What do you think?
We should do it again. In fact, you know, the amazing thing, and I can see hundreds of people. I don't know if you can see the faces around this reflecting pool, but everyone is really packed. You can't even move. It's packed. But everyone is being really nice. They're being very friendly. There's nothing, no negative vibes. I'm getting it all. I'm just getting positive vibrations from everyone around me. It's been a real thrilling experience.
Yeah, the same for me. And I have to admit this to you. I've been to Super Bowls. I've covered many of them in my days in sport. I've covered World Series. I've covered any kind of sporting event you can think of. Heavyweight championship fights right here in New York City, as a matter of fact. But I have never, ever seen anything this thrilling, this exciting, and this historic that I've had a chance to be a part of. And it's just been a real pleasure, and it's been a real pleasure jousting with you, my good friend Wolf.
Hey, you know, we had a lot of fun.
I didn't mean a word of it.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. You had one advantage. You had the mayor of New York, Mayor Giuliani. Too bad we couldn't get the First Lady, Mrs. Clinton, over here. We could have had the two of them arguing a little bit over who was doing a better job.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll see you here next year this time, and we'll do it again. I'll give you another shot.
Hey, Happy New Year to all my friends in New York. You know, I'm from Buffalo.
I know that, and a Bills guy. I don't want to be talking out of school. Happy New Year to my family too, back in Springfield, Illinois, and of course you, Bernie and Judy.
You guys
and Judy.
You guys
Happy New Year to you guys.
Happy New Year to both of you. You guys are getting a little mushy here. We liked it when there was an edge to the conversation.
Yeah,
Bernie, I just want to say
modeling.
No, I know, but you know, we keep showing these pictures of New York and Washington, but we should say, Bernie, there are 20 states and Washington, plus parts of two other states that are now in the year 2000. I don't know if we have time to name them all. Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Michigan, Georgia, Indiana, Connecticut, Maryland, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Delaware, Florida, New York, and parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. Those states are in 2 time zones.
And in this hemisphere, the Bahamas, Canada, we saw the live, beautiful area pictures from Toronto, the Cayman Islands, Colombia, Ecuador, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, and in Panama. Panama now has official control of the Panama Canal Zone, having taken it from the United States. They lowered the American flag yesterday, a day before, and now it's official. The canal belongs to Panama and the Panamanians.
Pictures from the northern part of the North American continent, Toronto, Canada. And we're back in Times Square. It's probably worth reflecting for just a moment on what President Clinton had to say. He said if the 20th century celebrated freedom, he said, what is the 21st century to celebrate? What is the story of the 21st century? He said, let us hope it will be about freedom wisely used.
And here in Atlanta, home of CNN Center, there was a giant peach drop earlier at the Underground Mall. Nothing as dramatic as this, but the people in Atlanta are partying. And I must say that I was struck by something I saw here at CNN Center. At the stroke of midnight, while Wolf and Fred were doing their reporting and our other people were doing, here it is right here, look at this. This was the peach drop. Well, all of the hundreds of people at CNN Center inside this building, inside this newsroom, stood, applauded, and they were going around the computer terminal shaking hands and wishing everyone a happy new year. Quite a feeling, inside and outside.
Absolutely, and I want to repeat what Bernie said. Here we have Orlando, the home of Disney World, where there are more celebrations, fireworks. Some of these cities are going to look the same because it's still dark. It's midnight. We're going to have to wait for sunrise to tell where we are in the case of some of these places. Here we go. This is what it looked like in Niagara Falls, New York, when the clock struck 12.
How long do you think they'll be awake into the early hours of this new millennium?
Someone asked us tonight, Bernie, what does Auld Lang Syne mean? And I think we figured out that in so many words, not an exact translation, it's for old time's sake. And I just want to echo what Bernie said a few moments ago, that the many, many people of CNN around the world, across the United States, circling the globe, who have been at work on this incredible story for weeks, for days. We've seen a few of them on the air. There are many more of them you won't see, you won't hear their names, but they've all worked extraordinarily hard, and we want to say thank you to each and every one of them.
And continuing to work. This is Boston. It's nice to drop in on these parties and these celebrations and to continue moving around and stay where you are. We're going to keep doing this. This is for you, and we're enjoying every bit of it.
Newport, Kentucky. The bell they call
The Peace Bell.
the Peace Bell. Very heavy. I'm looking through my notes right now to see how much it weighs.
It's a very beautiful bell. And you can tell it does not have a crack.
33 tons, our esteemed boss, CNN President Rick Kaplan tells us, 33 tons. It weighs, it's ringing. In the state of Kentucky, clearly, Bernie, this is the part of Kentucky that is in the eastern time zone. There's another part of that state that's still 42 minutes from the year 2000.
Uh-oh, they're starting to get into the waiting pool, the reflecting pool in Washington, and that usually happens in the summertime when there are demonstrations and rallies, but this is an indication of just how moderate the temperature is in the nation's capital. People in the
either that or they're wearing long underwear and rubber boots or something.
The Motor City celebrations in Detroit, Michigan.
From Michigan, we moved to Florida to Epcot Center, part of Disney World. Some pretty magical looking lights and music.
Indianapolis, Indiana. It's really something to have all of these live feeds coming in so that we can take you around the East Coast, and we're starting to venture out into the Midwest, because coming up in less than 45 minutes, it's going to be the new millennium in the heartland.
You know, this whole day has been like that. We have had the luxury of watching our television sets as every part of the globe, every one of the 7 continents, so we haven't had any pictures from Antarctica, but other than that, we've watched the other 6 continents turn the page of their calendar to the year 2000. And even though, Bernie, we know that, more than half the people in the world don't really celebrate this Gregorian calendar that we're observing, the year 2000, still there's something special about the number 2000.
And as we continue this unprecedented coverage of the new millennium as it passes through 25 time zones, a quick reminder, you can follow our coverage for the next 3 days going into Tuesday morning. There were editions of USA Today on Friday indicating what we're going to be doing each hour of the day. And Saturday, Sunday, Monday, the topics of this new millennium that are so important to you and I will be expanded on and thoroughly explored on CNN.
And we're not even done with observing midnights. The last one to come is in Samoa. It'll be 6 o'clock in the morning Eastern Time when Samoa recognizes midnight and the new millennium.
And in Chicago, our CNN bureau chief there, Jeff Flock, told us that at McCormick Place, they're getting ready to feed 3,500 people invited from every country on the planet. They came to Chicago. They were put up free. They were given clothing to combat Chicago's weather, although it's not very cold there now. And they're having a great time at McCormick Place right now on the shores of Lake Michigan.
And these are pictures earlier of New York City Times Square. That Waterford crystal ball we've heard so much about weighs over 1,000 pounds. It's not going to be used again. I wonder who gets to sweep the streets, Bernie, tomorrow.
2 million people here. 2 million people, 8,000 policemen and policewomen.
Just in Times Square, 7,000 or 8,000 policemen and women just in Times Square. We were told that 37,000 police, even the detectives, were wearing uniforms in New York City.
And as regards the Y2K rollover, at least as far as the United States military is concerned, when Greenwich Mean Time struck midnight, the rollover produced no problems. And they said so far the U.S. military has not been affected. Carl Rochelle reporting that the Federal Aviation Administration says everything was going very well. Frank Buckley is at Penn Station in New York City. Frank is getting ready to report from Penn Station. And we're back out in Times Square now. The crowd seems subdued, but everyone is just sort of catching their second wind now, because they'd been out there for hours, having got the best position they could get, and now they're just walking around and talking. This is how it looks outside. Inside Penn Station, let's go back to Frank Buckley.
Bernie, we are at Penn Station right now. This is some of the crowd that is heading back from Times Square. Some of the people, the trains will be running here, but some of them have been paused. Excuse me. I was hoping to talk to some of the people here to ask them about their hopes on New Year's Eve. Tell me your name again. Tell me, did you get down to Times Square tonight?
How did I get down? Is that what you said?
Did you get to Times Square tonight?
No, I was unfortunate. fortunate to get to Times Square, but I did enjoy seeing the ball drop, which was very interesting because I've never seen that in real life. I've always had to see it on TV, but it was awesome. I loved it. It was beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. We are at Penn Station tonight, and there have been concerns about Y2K and the trains, and we can tell you that Amtrak and many of the train systems around the country and around the world have in fact decided to take a pause at just before midnight, some of them for a half hour up to 2 hours. So far, no problems have been reported. We can tell you that the pause that took place here at Penn Station has taken place, and those trains that were paused here have taken off. I'm going to toss it back to you, Bernie.
Thanks very much. How are your eardrums doing?
I think some of those folks want to be on television.
Indeed. Well, the Midwest is approaching its magic moment, from Chicago to New Orleans.
New Orleans and places like Granbury, Texas. Our own Candy Crowley's there. We're going to be visiting a part of Texas close to Dallas.
And also in this hemisphere, Mexico City. And to the north, Winnipeg in Canada. And in Central America, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Waiting to welcome the millennium. Our live coverage continues in a moment.